Mr. Topsy-Turvey by Roger Hargreaves. Mr. Topsy-Turvey was a funny sort of fellow. Everything about him was either upside down or inside out, or right to front, topsy-turvy effect. It was all very extraordinary. To give you some idea about how topsy-turvy Mr. Topsy-Turvy was, you ought to see his house. The front door is upside down to start with, and the curtains hang upside down at the windows. And just look at the chimney pot. All very extraordinary. Inside is the same. Just look at the clock standing on Mr. Topsy-Turvy's mantelpiece. Isn't that the Topsy-Turvy's clock you've ever seen? And just look at the way Mr. Topsy-Turvy reads a book. It's Mr. Bump upside down. Not only does he read upside down, but he starts reading the back page. And just look where Mr. Topsy-Turvy puts the stamp where he sends a letter to somebody. Have you ever seen anything like it? Now, this story is about the time Mr. Topsy-Turvy came to the town where you and I live. Nobody's quite sure how Mr. Topsy-Turvy got there, or where he came from. But he did arrive because somebody saw him getting off the train. The trouble was he did it in Topsy-Turvy way, and got on the wrong side of the railway line. Which really isn't all that surprising, isn't it? Okay. When he picked himself up and managed to find his way out of the station, Mr. Topsy-Turvy went to a hotel to find a room to spend the night. The hotel manager tried not to smile when he saw Mr. Topsy-Turvy walked into his hotel carrying his suitcase. With his Topsy-Turvy hat in his head. "Good afternoon, sir," he said. "Can I help you?" Now, something he didn't know about Mr. Topsy-Turvy is the way he speaks. You see, he sometimes gets things the wrong way round. Okay. "Afternoon, good," said Mr. Topsy-Turvy to the hotel manager. "I'd room alike." The manager scratched his head. "You mean you'd like a room?" he asked. "Please, yes," replied Mr. Topsy-Turvy. Eventually, the hotel manager managed to work out what Mr. Topsy-Turvy was talking about, and he was taken to the bathroom. In a bedroom, then Mr. Topsy-Turvy unpacked his suitcase, put on his pajamas, and went to bed. He's went out after traveling from wherever he come from. The following day, Mr. Topsy-Turvy went round the town. But what a fuss the town caused. He drove a taxi for the hotel, but so confused the taxi driver tried to tell him where he wanted to go, the foreman drove straight into a traffic light. "Oh dear," said Mr. Topsy-Turvy. "I am sorry very." Then he went to a big department store in the middle of the town. He walked up to the counter. "I'd like a sock of pears," he said to the lady behind the counter. "You mean a pair of socks?" she smiled and showed him a bright with red socks. Mr. Topsy-Turvy put them on his hands. Then he tried to leave, but being Mr. Topsy-Turvy, he tried to walk down the up escalator, and all the people who were going up the up escalator all fell down over themselves. It was a terrible topsy-turvy jumble. That day, Mr. Topsy-Turvy did all sorts of topsy-turvy things. He walked backwards across the street, crossing, and caused an enormous traffic jam. He went into a library and put all the books upside down stairs that made everybody extremely cross. Then he went into an art gallery and insisted hanging pictures upside down that he could look at them properly. And then, after Mr. Topsy-Turvy had been in town for just one day, he disappeared. Nobody knew how he went or where he went. They certainly went because he wasn't there anymore. The whole town breathed a sigh of relief. But when the town discovered, even though Mr. Topsy-Turvy had left, that everything was still topsy-turvy. Read all it about, shouted the newspaper sales instead of shouting. Read all about it. News is to hear, said television newsreader instead of saying, here's the news. Morning good, people started saying to each other when they met. And do you how? Instead of, how do you do? Everybody was talking topsy-turvy. Now can you think of something to say that's topsy-turvy? Try on go. I mean, go on try. No boy, that's powerful piece of cat. How come Mr. Topsy-Turvy talking so much? He's supposed to talk. You meant that's power, no boy, piece of cat. Okay, think it's some egads. I'd like. Okay. How is this possible? He's talking so coke. You fat.